Folks, we have a new player on the field when it comes to Nikon Z Mount lenses. Tamron have announced that they're going to be releasing a 70-300mm 4.5 to 6.3 Di3 RXD lens for Nikon Z mounts. Why am I so excited? Find out next. Tamron have long had a very good reputation of being a third-party lens manufacturer for different brands of cameras. On the 30th of August 2022 here in Australia, the announcement came through that Tamron planned to launch in fall of this year, or spring for us here in the Southern Hemisphere, their new 70-300mm Nikon Z Mount lens. This is very exciting news because I'm sure a lot of you who watch my channel have had or do own Tamron lenses and realize how good they are in terms of bang for your buck. For example, I use the 150-600mm G2 lens on my D850. The fact Tamron are now venturing into Z mount lens territory is good news for our wallets, and I think this is actually going to be a very good thing when it comes to competitive pricing for Z lenses in the future. All right, let's look at the lens a little further and check out some of the specs. Firstly, it's lightweight, which is awesome, coming in at just 1.2 pounds, which is a little over 540 grams. Has an aperture range of f4.5 to f22. It's an FX or full frame lens, but can be used on the crop sensor Nikon cameras like the Z50, ZFC and Z30, but that will make the lens a 105 to 450 millimeter. The AF drive is powered by the RXD stepping motor unit for high speed, high precision and quiet operation, which is good for video. Has 15 elements in 10 groups with a low dispersion front element, moisture resistant construction and rounded 7-blade diaphragm. Now the Sony E-mount version of this lens retails for approximately $500 in the US or approximately $850 here in Australia. So it'll be interesting to see the Z mount price when it's released. I can see this lens being very versatile in a lot of different photography situations, but the one that I'm mainly interested in is for landscape photography. Having a 6.3 minimum aperture on the long end doesn't really concern me, as most of my landscape shots are in the f8 to f11 range. Nowadays, I'm all about a lightweight setup, which is just one of the reasons why I bought the Nikon Z7 in the first place. In a recent video, and if you haven't seen it yet, I'll just leave it up the top of the screen for you to check out a little bit later on, I spoke about the two lenses I mainly use for landscape photography to keep weight down. For the Nikon Z mount, I use the 14-30mm f4 lens and also the Nikon 80-400mm f mount lens via the FDZ2 adapter. I absolutely love this Nikon 80-400mm lens, but it is a little bit big and it is a little bit bulky. I think this new Tamron 70-300mm lens will help me achieve what I'm trying to do in terms of less weight, even though I will be sacrificing 100mm off the long end. But having a 45 megapixel camera like the Z7 does allow me scope to crop in without losing too much quality to my images. In other news this week, Nikon have actually launched a brand new firmware update for their flagship camera, the Z9. According to the Nikon USA website, the upgrade from the previous firmware, and I quote, fixed an issue that in very rare circumstances would cause the camera to stop responding. Responding to touch, to the camera not focusing on flying birds that have got the same type color background, to not going into record when it's supposed to. Responding to what exactly? I would have liked a little bit of elaboration there, Nikon. Anyway, I'm sure the Z9 owners out there would be very appreciative of any firmware update that would allow them to get better performance from their cameras, especially considering the price tag they paid. I'll be getting in touch with some of the Tamron reps that I know here, and I'm going to try and get that lens as soon as possible to test and review on my channel. So make sure you subscribe and keep your eyes open for that video. Well, thank you so much for watching. Never stop creating, and I'll see you next time.